Michael Ray here from Walk-Ins. Welcome. And real quick, mark your calendars for February 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern for our next webinar, which is all about DIY marketing tactics for your urgent care. If you're needing more patients in your door, but you don't have the budget for hiring a full-time team member inside to run the marketing or to hire an agency to help run those ads, these are things that you can do yourself, the owner, to help increase that patient volume. So hit the link below to register for the webinar. If you can't make that date, go ahead and register so you can get the replay later, and love to see you on there. Thanks.
What is up, Walk-Ins? Welcome, fam. We are glad to have you back for another episode. As always, we're here to help you get more patients, deliver better care, get repeat visits, scale your clinic. Michael, hello.
Hello. It's one of our first non-interview episodes in a while.
I know, man.
When we really looked at the calendar, like, hey, we don't have an interview today. That's kind of fun. And
yeah, we've been on a tear, right?
Yeah, we've been on a tear for a while. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. We've been enjoying it. It's been great information coming to the table. Also, I loved having Dr. Miller on because, being a client, we can hear his backstory. And we always get exposed to the story like we didn't know that was a thing. Andy, that's kind of cool. I'm glad that we were able to help you there.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that's really fun. But no, we're back doing a regular episode today, which is totally cool. But the best part is I don't know what we're about to talk about. Nick does. So whatever I'm about to say for the next 20 minutes none of it was scripted at all.
Honestly, we very rarely script it out. I'll come up with some questions. But anyway, so let me ask the rhetorical question and then we'll dive in a little bit. How's your year going so far? How's it going? How's your clinic doing?
Is it doing what you want it to do?
I mean, it's been respiratory nightmare season.
Yeah, I know. It's been so fascinating that flu took forever to get here. Right. And then it came here like crazy. One of our clients, she was really funny. She's out of Oklahoma. And she's like, well, we're like number 2 in the nation for flu, which I'm glad we're number 2 for something.
Well, we want you to be number 1 for urgent care. That's our goal.
But it just made me laugh because her attitude is real funny.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about a little bit about how your year's going. Think about, we've kicked off January. We're well into February now. For us, the Q1 is just crazy around here.
Q1 is a fun, challenging, oh my gosh.
It is. It is. It's kind of hard to predict. I mean, we know here's what I know about January. Change is happening.
Whether we want it or not.
Mostly we don't. Mostly we don't, but it's happening.
Check on your marketing people in the marketing industry during January. It's a hard time.
Let me tell you what I've learned is the general business owner gets shiny object syndrome like crazy, and they want to try never mind everything is working well. They just want to try new things for whatever reason.
Or you know what? I'm just gonna see what happens.
Or you have team members that are looking for new opportunities.
Yeah,
right.
That's part of the game.
Or there's changes in the industry, or there was a flu season that was delayed, and now you're getting pummeled by it internally for you, right?
Yeah, which actually I think about how January is a challenging time in the marketing world, but I do wonder if it made it worse because any of the urgent cares that wanted to talk to us in January couldn't because they couldn't get above water or all the flu coming in. And I'm curious if late February, early March, when the flu kind of chills out just a little bit, we'll start hearing a lot more conversations.
Right. Well, before we get into everything, I'll just start by saying I'm not struggling mentally or anything like that, but this season is where I would, if I'm going to struggle, would have the most mental stress.
Yeah.
Right. And that's been real this season. So, just in digging into leadership, I listen to a lot of leadership podcasts. I listen to a lot of books. I'm still going through some training on pilot stuff, and there's a lot of mental things going on. And I came across this video, and I wish I could remember the name of the guy that was talking, but it hit me really, really hard in a challenging, positive, check yourself kind of way. And he asked the question, I'll ask you this question because you're not going to know the context, I don't think, is, okay, are you a thermometer or a thermostat?
So thermostat's where you change the temp, the thermometer's where you check the temp, right?
So you got it. So here's the deal. The thermometer tells you the temperature of the room. The thermostat tells the room what the temperature is going to be.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's the question. Are you a thermometer or a thermostat, are you walking into your clinic and are you reacting to the temperature of the room? Are you reacting to what's going on with your patients? Are you reacting to somebody quit? Are you reacting to your patient volumes being either skyrocketed or are they falling apart?
Are you reacting to Google removing
All of them.
300 reviews?
Yeah. Is that controlling your emotions? Or are you walking into your clinic and saying, whatever happens today, I'm going to change the temperature to what I want it to be?
There you go.
Right? And so wanted to dig into that a little bit because like I am challenged by that because there are days where I'm a thermostat and there are days where I'm a thermometer, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not consistent.
I mean, I guess ultimately, like when you're the thermometer, emotion drives the decision.
Right.
And then when you're thermostat, logic steps in most of the time.
Yeah, logic, willpower.
Or future seeing, you know, what, like this is something that's happening, but I know it's going to happen. And we're just going to prepare for that instead of reacting to this.
That's right.
So, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think everyone has thermometer moments. Now, for those who have thermometer moments all the time, I think there's a bigger challenge. I think that's where a lot of coaching and stuff comes into play. And I do think people who are pure thermostat people, I think they maybe lack empathy.
Well, I mean, it's a real thing, right? So reacting to your environments or setting the tone for your environments. You know, there's people that I've met that are incapable of having a bad day. Yeah. And that's cool, by the way. Yeah, it is. But also I'm like, are you real? Like, are you a real person?
Like, are you like, cause I've met some of those people and there are those moments like, so what's going to break you? And are you going to be the one that gets broken and then goes on a killing spree?
Like completely falls apart.
Yeah, it just falls completely apart.
What is that movie, Anger Management?
Yeah, right.
He's like, I'm fine. I'm murdering everybody.
Yeah, and then off the cliff. Yeah,
That's right. No, but I wanted to dig into that a little bit. So, you know, what are there's two sides of that equation there. The thermostat side, thermostat. I think Thermos is out of business or Rubbermaid.
Rubbermaid. Yes,
sorry.
I was like, oh man.
Or the thermometer, and you know, talk about a little bit like what are the triggers that cause you to be one or the other, right? Because one of them are external, and the other one is, I think it's external and internal. But let's talk about the external things. Like, if I'm walking into the office, I'll take Tuesday, for example, or was it Tuesday I took off?
The one day you take off.
The one day I take off, I'm getting questions from one client about why all of our reviews are disappearing.
Yes.
Texting me instead of like the proper point of contact on the team, which is fine. I don't mind talking to people, but I like tried to take a day. I literally was going to get a massage with my wife.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, I was just trying to spend some time.
Did you
her.
actually get it?
I didn't enjoy it.
Your mind started.
But that doesn't. Man, I couldn't turn it off. But this is a great example. Like all day long, I was a thermometer, right? Because I was getting that. I got a message that one of our team members is going to be moving on to another company, and I'll leave it on good terms, but still something to deal with, right?
I got to come back to this.
Yeah. Another one asking for pricing stuff, right?
Yeah, Tuesday was a lot.
Another one is shooting me a text about some other thing. I was getting first of all, most people don't come to me all the time anymore. Like it's pretty rare.
I think you have some of the like OGs that come to you.
I do.
And then
on my day off.
Always.
I don't take a lot of them, but
boy, I am so determined. And you've seen this when I take off, if I get, which I really don't get anything from anybody these days. But if I ever did, it's like screenshot, send to somebody here, and it's like, okay, thanks.
Which I did some of that. Right?
Yeah.
So I did some of that. I didn't personally talk to any clients on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But they were talking to me, right? And that's okay. Like, again, I'm not mad about it. It was just one of those things where I was, at that time, I was Now, I had started the day a thermostat. I had said, I might go in near my phone today. Like, there's no need for me to do that. I'm spending time. Like, I know
that phone was just boiling.
It wasn't that. Heather said, "Hey, listen, we're going to that spa. I need you to go to your phone and reply yes to whatever it was."
Okay. Whoopsie.
37 notifications later. Right. Yeah. So that's what triggered me to even go to my phone. I had it put away. I wouldn't go near it.
You need to do what I do, and just when I'm gone, I actually disable my app notifications.
Yeah.
so I don't see them.
Yeah, I should have.
Yeah,
But I wasn't even taking my phone with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I had no intention of even keeping my phone near me that day.
You look at it,
I even put in our Slack messages that if you need to get to me, y'all might want to call Heather.
Yeah, I remember that
because that was.
And then I magically get a forwarded email from you.
Well, that was because of all the notifications I was getting when Heather said, "Hey, I need you to get confirm our appointment on your phone. You got a text message."
This brings back work-life balance conversations. The one notification that turns a pretty cool, nice day to a hot and heavy, like miserable day. And it's just real.
That's right.
It is real. Like, and it's so hard to turn. I mean, even business owners one of the hardest because you're like, what's going on?
That's right.
Like, I want to know. But I mean, in the urgent care space, there's some, I wouldn't say life and death things that could be happening, but very impactful things could happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, but think about, I'm talking about myself right now. I don't mean to make it all about me. So just think about it from the clinic. Like maybe you have somebody that just left you a 1-star review because maybe somebody on your team didn't do their job the way you would have trained them because they were having a bad day.
Yeah.
And then maybe you found out that one of your payments didn't come through from the payer, right?
Or got delayed
or
denied,
canceled, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're trying to treat a patient, but your mind is on, man, I've got to pay my bills and I've got to pay my team. And, you can't help as a clinic owner still thinking as a business owner. You just can't do, you can't separate. Or maybe, one of your team members that you really needed there didn't show up that day or called in, right? Yeah. And it could be for a totally legitimate reason, but you still have to respond to all of that, right? And those are the things that can start chipping away at your temperature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's real. Or just it's like lighting frog in boiling water thing.
Oh yeah, 1 degree at a time.
Just start. You don't even realize it until it gets too hot.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's just a nice bubble bath until it gets that 1 degree, and then you're boiling a frog, right? Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. So those are some of the things that trigger me and likely trigger. I mean, even if Michael, I don't know about you, but what happens when you go home and Addie's running laps and Courtney's at her wit's end?
Oh, that's pretty common.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it happens to me when I go home and, Connor has gotten into an argument or, Preston has had a bad day because, he has autism. So like he's had a bad day and something's happened there, or, Samuel got bullied for some stupid reason at school, or somebody dies. You name it, right? Like, you go home to circumstances that all of a sudden have changed your temperature, right? Mm-hmm. So, what are some ways that you can become the thermostat, right? In my opinion, one, have a set of core values for yourself, for your family, for your business. Like, it's often easy for me to deal now with situations based on our core values because I have guardrails in place. Mm-hmm. I make decisions based on, here's the best way to say it. I've already pre-decided in just about every area of our business.
Yeah, and it gets you down the right path quickly. And then whatever variation it is, it doesn't matter because it's in the guardrails at that point. But the whole entire predetermining things is so important because, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't predict every situation.
No.
But there's some core things, like you said, some core values that will push you in the right direction, so you won't just pull your hair out and just say, I don't know what to do at all.
Right.
Because, I mean, what we always say, action is the best cure for...
Action cures fear.
Action cures fear, that's right.
That's the way I say
it. Because I do think some of that temperature or the thermometer side is the fear that creeps in, that goes with it, right? Because the fear triggers anxiety, triggers stress. So... Like, let's say you had we have a team member leaving. Well, that kicked in a little fear. Like, now what am I going to do with these clients that they're talking to?
Well, I would say it used to be fear. Now it's just like, I got to hire somebody.
Yeah, and so like because I got the notification before you did,
right? And
or the conversation. So I was already like 10 steps ready to go by the time. And I purposely got that far before I forwarded it to you. And because it was basically like, here we go, let's go.
Yeah. So we got these things.
Because I knew what our general rule, like knowing that we're replacing a role, right? Not just hiring a whole new one. If it's a whole new one, that's a whole conversation. But like if someone's leaving, we have a replacement role process basically. And I was ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah, but like in the past when we've had these situations, because we didn't have things prepared in place already.
Yeah.
Like one, redundancies.
Yeah.
Two, processes. Right. We didn't have these things set up before. That used to be a freak out moment.
Yep.
Where now, I mean, hey, we're good.
Yep.
That's the first time I think where something like this has happened in the company where I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been here, done that.
Yeah.
We know what the expectations are, the risk or whatever, and we know where to take it. And so, and I think the only talk about variations, the only variation we had on this particular situation is that we made some minor adjustments to a description.
That's right.
And then fired away.
Well, and when contracts come up and you're wondering whether or not people are going to renew or whatever, upgrade, downgrade, however it's going to look, we've put retained earnings in place to take the pressure off of those kind of situations where in the past it would have hurt a lot.
Control the temp.
And now we're just
Control the temp.
That's right. We got it. Like we're in control of that. I like the way you said that. Control the temperature.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it this way. So like your retained earnings as your business should have 101 right here. If you're an urgent care and you don't have any retained earnings, you don't know what that means. There's some more things you got to learn.
Schedule an appointment.
Yeah. We can help you there. But anyway, so like, when you have like multiple degrees in your thermostat of retained earnings where you can easily adjust up and down to fit whatever's going on, it's easy.
Right.
It is. And so, I mean, that's been like a push for all of us, right? Like you have to make commitments to these things, right? You can't just not have a plan, just throw money into a savings account and hope it works. Like you got to be intentional. I mean, that's just simple, like paying off debts and collect savings. And we were intentional, like, let's get to this point. Cool. Well, now we have confidence here. When we get to that point, there's confidence over there. And so, but yeah, I think like that retained earnings, it's a perfect thermostat tool for the financial side of the business.
Right.
So,
well, and we've learned we're not quite, but going on 7 years of business, everything runs in seasons.
Yeah.
Everything ebbs and flows. And there are some predictable seasons. There's some delayed seasons.
Yes.
Flu season
season delayed some stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So, you have to be able to plan. But if you have a plan in place for those things, employee turnover, patient volume, reviews may not be where you want them. Yeah, like you name it, the payers, getting paid back, all these kind of things. If you have a plan in place, you have now become a thermostat instead of the thermometer, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, because one of the challenges, because you may even say to yourself, I don't think I'm a thermometer, I think I'm a thermostat. Well, if you have people that are if you have your people that are nervous to come to you about a large problem, you're a thermometer, or your thermometer is too often because you've trained some bad behaviors and you didn't mean to. So, like if I came to you, like to my knowledge, I don't think there's anything that I can't come to you about and have a fear of reaction.
Well, I certainly hope not.
But I mean, I used to be in that world for a long time where the fear of the reaction was greater than the problem itself. And that's a real challenge. Like that is not unique to me, right? That happens all the time. So, because I think a lot of business owners, some are very hot tempered, right? Because they're driven. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll put in quotes driven. They generally are just like hot tempers. But the reality of it is, if you have people that are just terrified to come to you with this problem or tried to cover the problem up, which is even worse technically, you have a reaction problem that you need to correct.
Right.
Which means you have a thermometer problem because you're just reacting to that super hot temp and you're letting everybody see it and nobody wins.
That's right.
So, and then sometimes if you're like, I don't think so, well, look at your turnover rate. If your employee turnover rate is pretty high, and assuming you do an exit interview, because if you don't do exit interviews, you'll never know like what was in their mind. Because most exit interviews that I've done now here, they'll just tell you exactly like it is because they have no recourse.
Yeah, I was going to say, once they're not concerned about their job anymore, they tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah, or in the one scenario, he's like, I'll tell you if you give me a beer. I was like, here you go.
Yep, crack that beer open, hand it to him.
Right in front of him.
Speak away. Which was fantastic, though. He wasn't getting enough positive reinforcement from us.
Yeah.
And, but we've corrected that.
We have, and we have more focus on, I think everything's been a learning, there's always a learning nugget from anyone that leaves. Like at the end of the day, like there's some type of thing like, yeah, could have done that better, or we know not to do that again.
That's right.
And so, and I, even with the person leaving now, like, there's a couple of things I learned from that. So, but yeah.
No, that's good. Another way to move over to the thermostat side of things is to have clear action goals for every part of your business that needs action-oriented goals, right? So what I'm talking about is like, I want to go from 30 patients a day to 50 patients a day. And I've got to play. Here's the budget I'm going to spend on marketing. Here's the team I'm going to put into place. Here's the timeframes we want to hit these goals. A goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, or this mind, or the mindset. We're going to increase our patient volume by 20%. What are you going to do? Like when you come to the new year?
Yeah.
I want to increase our revenue by 20%. Well, what are you going to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like,
It's just going to happen.
yeah, it's just going to happen.
Yep.
And I'll say this, in the urgent care space, a bit of that could be true because of demand, but because like a COVID could show up and that'll totally fix your revenue problem. But the reality of it is, it's just like anything else. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. It's called insanity, or basically called just dumb.
Right.
Like, that's just not how the world works. A lot of external environments would have to change that. But yeah, if you're like, I have a clear goal, but I have no action behind it, it's just nothing's going to happen at all. Right. But if you have like a clear action plan to go with it, and you have like key points, deadlines, all the things, you line up those goals, and then you push for it, it's amazing what can happen.
3 goals you should, be working on in your clinic. You should be working on increasing or maintaining or some form of your patients per day. Your door-to-door times, getting that at the time frame that you wanted. I think 45 minutes seems to be the ideal time.
Yeah, like the 35, 45, yep. Like just something under an hour.
Yep, under an hour, more than 30 minutes.
Yep.
Right? Making sure that you're getting your Net Promoter Score out there, either in the form of Google reviews or just, asking your patients. Those are 3 things that you can work on. But if you have a goal for those areas, you could have a goal for retained earnings. You could have a goal for profit. At this point in our business, we have a saying around here that revenue, profit greater than revenue, right?
Yes.
Profit is
because at the end, revenue is a cool ego fancy number, but the profit's where it's at, because you could have the same amount of profit at $1 million revenue as someone who has $100 million revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You could have the exact same profit, which, they get to do a lot more things. Well, sort of, but at the same time, they're a stress level, right?
Yeah.
Arguably, the more revenue you make and you're not increasing your actual profit dollar amount, the more stress you're under.
That's right.
Because you're trying to make something happen that's just not happening.
That's right. But if you've got a plan in place, even if you miss your goal, you have a plan. And so at that point, you're not in a reactionary mode. Mm-hmm. You're setting the temperature. Hey, listen, I get it. We didn't hit the goal, but we have this. We'll make it up here. I can come in with some confidence. I can come in with some poise when I know that I have things in place. Now, I want to make another comment here that every thermostat has a thermometer built into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what triggers it.
That's right. Exactly. So you may always be a thermometer, but you'll sometimes be a thermostat with that thermometer built in. It's just going to happen.
Like, is that thermos? Are you going to let that thermostat kick on?
Yeah.
Or
That's right.
Or are you going to leave it off?
Well, it's also a pretty good litmus test, right? Mm-hmm. So here's what I know for sure. Am I turning on the heat or am I turning on the air?
Yeah.
Right? Or is this just one of the days where I'm going to go crack the windows, right? So the point I'm trying to make, though, is like,
off the panel.
and I tell my wife this, this is going to sound like I'm pandering her. Like, she's smart as a whip, okay? But mm-hmm. that's like when I know it's going to be getting cold, like super cold, but right now it's not, I'm like, you need to start lowering the temperature slowly and gradually so that we don't break our system when we go from 70 degrees to 30 degrees, which happens in Alabama all the time.
Happened this
right?
week.
Exactly, right? But if we knew it was coming, again, we knew that the thermometer was going to change. I could start adjusting the thermostat mm-hmm. slowly to meet that.
Yeah.
Right.
We do that. Like, well, that's one of the things I do when you start to see here comes the 90 or 100-degree weather.
Oh, yeah.
Out of nowhere. So usually at night, I'll punch it down to get that temperature to come down real easy.
That's right.
So then by the time the temp starts going back up, it doesn't have to fight as hard.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not constantly running the fan, killing your energy bills.
Yep.
No, you've slowly brought it down, or, into the summer, slowly bring it up.
Yep.
But it's a good indicator that thermostat, that thermometer built into it, maybe time to take a look at some of your maintenance before it starts spiking, right? So anyway, a lot of allegory, that kind of stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is it's a pretty good representation of your business. Like, are you a thermostat? Are you a thermometer? Are you reacting to things all the time? And then ask yourself these questions, like, what's going on in my clinics, if you have multiple, like what's going on that's causing me to lose sleep at night? What's causing me to come into the office or come into the clinic frustrated? What's causing me or elated and happy? Like, there's that side of it too. You could just be like through the roof.
Yeah. What's that triggering point that makes you feel great?
Right.
And remind yourself of that.
That's right.
I think, for us here, like adding new clients, especially urgent cares that care about what we do, like that's very exciting to us, and we enjoy that. We love our current clients, but we love bringing on new clients, and it's fun to us.
We have fun all around with our clients. But so that's what I want to challenge you on this week, is to first self-identify. Which one am I? Like, am I setting the tone? Am I setting the temperature at my clinic? Am I being that foundation that my entire team needs from me? Or are they telling me who I'm going to be today based on how they, like, y'all all got that one person in your clinic that no matter what you say, she's a Debbie Downer and there's no positive thing that can come out of her mouth. And you already know that you're going to walk around the other way on the desk just to avoid that person.
I'm about to say, if you find yourself avoiding that person,
you see what I mean? And then there's also that person that you go to, because no matter what you say, in our office, his name is Philip. No matter what you say, he's going to find a way to bring out the best in the situation or the person, right? So point I'm trying to make is, like, you have some consistent people in your office. One's going to take you down. One's going to bring you up. Hopefully you don't deal with the Debbie Downer for too long. You get that person, hey, we need to shape up or ship out. Is that as they say? And then you need to find a way to edify that one person. But keep an eye on that super positive person, because they could be on the edge of
they could break
too. Yeah, like, you don't know, right?
Yeah, they can break.
Anyway,
Philip, don't break.
Yeah, don't break, Philip. I want to challenge you. Go be the thermostat, right? Understand that the thermometer is built into it, and then don't react to the thermometer. Prepare for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And and prepare, like you said, preparing. You're looking at the forecast, right?
That's it.
And you're seeing what's coming. And I think if you're an urgent care that's been in the business for a while, you know what those seasons look like, and you got to prepare. Like, we all know that summers are challenging.
Yeah.
Go, instead of having like a frustrated look at it as an opportunity and prepare for it. Like, I would even say, because we know a lot of our urgent cares, they use the summers to also kind of like recondition their clinics and maybe add some new equipment, like kind of just prepare for the heavy season. Because it's hard to make big changes when you're just slammed with patients. It's just hard. And so, like, if you're saying to yourself, you know what, this summer, instead of me just being annoyed and closing down hours and all these things, I'm going to put some money back so we can do these things during the summer and have more fun with it and control the temperature.
That's it. I love it.
So,
well, listen, one of the things that you can do to help us control our temperature is leave us a review. That'd be super cool.
Or come visit our webinars.
Yeah, we'll have some webinars coming up. We'll make announcements about that. I think we come up February 27th, I believe.
February 27th. I did a little pre-roll, so I don't know if it's going to hit on this one or a different one. But no, our goal is, of course, to do a monthly webinar for you guys. We're putting out our weekly podcast. We have new content we're putting out soon. I'll be talking at the UCA in May, which will be a lot of fun, about the front desk. Even talked to a guy yesterday that his entire company is training that front desk to make them more profitable.
We're hoping to have him on the podcast.
Yep.
I've got a couple of other guests that we're lining up for this awesome podcast. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for leaving that review and sharing this episode with another clinic that may need this kind of content. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Yep.